Yeah, how's it going? Today is 24th of September, Tuesday, and we're gonna be taking a look at the market, what kind of opportunities we can find, as well as in today's video, we're gonna touch on perhaps one opportunity as well as financial opportunity where people can express, or businesses can express the interest in to take part. And from there, we're gonna be progressing to aviation and some of the developments when it comes to perhaps training. And from there, we're gonna be touching and we're taking a look at different engines. We're gonna be comparing it's very hard to compare, by the way. Which engine? Because we're gonna be taking a look at the United States, UK, and South Korea, and we're gonna be taking a look at fighter jet engines. But it's very hard to compare. So I thought how to do it, right? Perhaps we can take a look at how much it costs to maintain. It's not necessarily the best way to compare it, but some of those engines and the way how those engines will be built, it can the way how those engines will be built, it would cost twice as much to maintain. So perhaps it's very complex the way how some can be built, as well as it might offer a lot of capabilities while being built in this particular way, but it would be very very expensive to maintain. So it's not necessarily if anyone's interested in buying fighter jet, that's just a part of entire contract, right? Another part would be how expensive it is to have this fighter jet. So I thought we are gonna be taking a look at how expensive it can be. Let's start. Just a quick one. Today's still Monday, but it most likely gonna be in tomorrow's or Tuesday's video. But either way, so we have closed 360. Overall, it's a great week, progressing with sales, and most likely we're going to be doing exactly the same when it comes to this week. Every second day of the week, we're going to be having, and we're doing a lot of marketing, reach out, and we're closing with sales, and we're going to be closing week while taking a look at government contracts. Haven't put it on the board yet, it's just something that I'm doing right now, just sticking to the routine. First one that would be potentially call for bids that would be promoting sustainable mining in Peru. For people who are interested or businesses who are interested, that's with the British Embassy, and this competition was announced yesterday. For people to or businesses to express interest here. Individuals, most likely, it's people working for different businesses who are going to be expressing the interest in taking part, right? So I'll touch on it. This opportunity is going to be live, and this opportunity has been carried out by British Embassy in Lima. So let's progress and let's take a look at some other government announcements, right? Next article, we're going to be taking a look at something that was published today. That would be, I haven't read it, that would be training for armed forces recruits continuing to improve, but new pilots face delays, right? So the entire subject might be very complex, and I'm not sure what information will be published. So I thought since this month and all this period of the year, there's a lot of people who are entering apprenticeships and or developing their skills. It's just because of the timing, right? So that's what this article is taking a look at. What might be important, and a lot of people are thinking about improving their qualifications, all these kind of things. I thought let's do perhaps things a little bit more no different and no more interesting way, where we're going to be taking a look at perhaps automation, perhaps would remove need of having pilots sitting in the cabin piloting, right? Perhaps that will take care of itself, and we're gonna need a very good or even best engineers possible in the future. So perhaps that would be where a lot of apprenticeships should be, not necessarily pilots, but engineers. And perhaps I will do my own spin, so to say, right? And we're gonna be taking a look at engines and how perhaps those engines of fighter jets could be built better and more cost-effective way, I would say. But again, we will try to do it in 10 minutes, right? Trying to take a look at then what kind of information is available, and but let's do it. Let's do it. I have started by taking a look at what would be opinions, right, and where people would be taking a look at what would you consider one of the best engines, if not the best, and that would be different characteristics. So I thought I'll try to understand it. But think there might be different ways to measure things. Perhaps we can compare three different governments, and uh, perhaps those governments would, if not right now, in the future, maybe consider improving the fleet, I would say. And then they can look at how they can improve their fleet. Perhaps that will be, we're going to be taking a look at finance. I believe finances should be important. Perhaps some of those people do not care about it, how much things do cost. Yeah, perhaps they should care, right? But either way, it's a different issue there. So we can take a look at the US made fighter jet engines, and some of those costs could be, would estimate around 30,000 per flight. That would be potentially 1 hour, 30,000, right? Or value, entire value, lifetime value of operating one fighter jet can cost roughly about 50 million. Roughly. Speaking, right? UK's made fighter jet engines, right? We are taking a look at cost. Cost can vary, and again, it's dollars, right? And could cost 19,000 per flight hour, which is kind of interesting, and something that might be built by some of the British companies, which is kind of interesting. Okay. And some of those might be joint ventures, all those kind of things, right? And the last one, so I thought we'll just throw one in there, so just for fun. Up and coming, perhaps, or perhaps the market is being developed by other governments as well. That would be South Korea made fighter jet engines. I believe they can do it. I believe they can do it, but again, it's opinion, right? And some estimates would recommend that most likely it would be very similar to what UK is paying, so it would be about 20,000, right? But again, approximately speaking, right? But if some of those governments do care about finances, and if we're taking a look at apprenticeships, and if we are looking for apprenticeships, perhaps we need to hire and train best engineers to build and or improve engines. I would say perhaps there's some cost savings there, right? Anyway, there are some articles when it comes to South Korea and South Korea's partnership with Poland. So I thought I haven't read those articles. Let's take a look at them, or perhaps read three different articles, and let's try to understand potentially if Poland made purchase of South Korea's technology and South Korea is developing fighter jets. Perhaps some improvements can be made, and where else would you start if not with the engine, and perhaps software and all other capabilities might be important as well. But engine, I would say that's the best place to start, right? That would be something that was published recently, so we can start with that. That would be June. And that would be Kiev 21 fighter engine plans match South Korea's aim for 40 aircrafts by 2028, right? And that would be company most likely a private business, and all governments, arms, the supplier, quote unquote, right? Who will build the first batch of at least 40 414 engines at its there's a different plans, right? Under license from US Aerospace Prime. Again, there's another company there. So we're not promoting any of those companies, right? Other than technology. Technology might be very interesting. And it just what generation of engines and what would be taken into account is something I would be kind of interested in understanding, right? South Korean aspirations to have first batch of 40 Kiev 21 Boromy fighters delivered by 2008 has been backed up by announcement contract between Defense Acquisition Program Administration and there is the name of the company for a bit of the last 40 414 engines between 24 and 27. In June 25 released, there's the company Aerospace said that the contract for the 40 414 engines and all spare models for Kiev 21 value of around 401 million. The contract period runs from the June 24 to December 27, during which this company will also provide engines maintenance, manuals, and on-site technical support. Okay, interesting, interesting. And to develop such a engine is perhaps it takes so much finances, by the way. And whoever developed, I don't know, they might be private business, right? And now they maybe would be able to recoup some of the costs, right? And the next article that today Poland inks deal for FA-50 light attack aircraft from South Korea, and something that happened some time ago that I didn't have time to read it right, or I was focusing on other things, but either way, that today September 17, 2022. Warsaw, Poland. Poland's Minister of National Defense has signed 2 contracts to buy 48 FA-50 light attack aircraft from South Korea, with the first 12 jets to be delivered next year and all further 36 aircraft in the years 25 to 28. Polish Prime Minister, there's a name there, so there's a public personality, but either way, let's skip names. Who was present at the official signing ceremony of September 16th? Okay. So there's a lot of announcements, so we do understand basics, right? The implementations of the program to introduce FA-50 aircraft to the Polish military will also allow us to fully resign from using Soviet design MiG-29 and Su-22 aircraft, as quoted in a statement released by his office. Oh, okay, so it's some of those aircraft that the Polish Minister of Defense was flying at the time, as well as new technologies. But I'm just saying it's very complex. I would like to suggest to build themselves, but it's very complex things to do. It's very hard. It's very hard to develop those engines, right? So I thought I'll touch on it, as well as it's very complex. It's a very hard thing to do. It's very hard, right? As well as I thought I'll touch briefly on other articles where they're discussing how much it will cost after Poland signs 13 billion. That would be dollars deal with South Korea for 48 light combat jets. So I thought I'll touch on prices, so we can focus on finances and how those contracts will be structured, as well as perhaps they can why they would have 2 different models in the fighting fleet. Perhaps they can sell some of it and purchase new, I don't know, so to say, upgrade entire fleet, upgrade and all, add different add-ons and all communication systems, all those kind of things that potentially could be added to the systems later. We'll go to completion, all those kind of things, right? But all these things won't be discussed in this article, so I thought it's not necessarily worth the read, other than some of those contracts, as well as deliveries, all these kind of things, right? But either way, thanks for watching, see you next one.